Look at your hand right now. Not your phone, your hand. That's a tropical animal, born for heat. No fur, no blubber, no claws to dig a den. At -20, exposed skin stops working in about 10 minutes. At -30, you're dead before sunrise. And yet, you exist, which means every single one of your ancestors survived winters that should have erased them from the planet. Here's what gets me. Neanderthals were stronger than us, bigger brains, bigger bodies, built like tanks. They had a 50,000-year head start. They're gone. We're not. And the difference, scientists think, came down to one tiny object. Something so small you could lose it between your sofa cushions. We'll get to it. But first, let me show you what they were actually up against. Forget what Ice Age sounds like. Forget a snowy Christmas. 26,000 years ago, the ice sheet over Europe was 3 kilometers thick. That's taller than 3 Eiffel Towers stacked on top of each other. It covered everything from Ireland to Siberia. No forest, no shelter, just open frozen tundra and a wind with nothing to stop it for 1,000 miles. The cold didn't kill slowly. It killed fast. A person loses the ability to think clearly in about 30 minutes. After 2 hours, they're unconscious. After 4, they're dead. And here's the thing nobody talks about. The cold didn't just kill people directly, it killed the food first. Animals migrated, plants died, rivers froze. For months at a time, our ancestors were living inside a giant freezer with nothing to eat and no way out. The 5 solutions, each one a cliffhanger. Solution number 1, fire that burns at over 600 degrees Celsius. We think of ancient fire as weak, a little campfire. But in Ukraine, archaeologists dug up Ice Age hearths that burned hotter than most modern kilns. How? They weren't burning wood. They were burning bone and fat, the marrow of mammoths. That's not primitive. That's engineering under pressure. Solution number 2, the invention that might have saved our species. This is the payoff for the open loop. Around 30,000 years ago, someone figured out how to drill a hole through a sliver of bone, the sewing needle. One scientist called it possibly the most important invention in human history, and he has a case. It meant fitted clothing, sealed seams, clothes that actually trap heat instead of leaking it. Neanderthals, as far as we know, never had it. We did. That gap might be why you're here and they aren't. Solution number 3, the sunglasses made of bone. Nobody thinks about snow blindness, but it's one of the most dangerous things about winter. The reflected glare off snow can burn your retinas in hours. Our ancestors carved tiny slits into bone and tied them over their eyes. The first sunglasses, 40,000 years before Oakley. Solution number 4, houses built from giants. In Ukraine and Russia, there were no caves, no wood, nothing. So people built shelters out of mammoth bones, skull and femur walls, rib and tusk roofs. The biggest ones, dating back 18,000 years, show evidence of being used repeatedly for hundreds of years. A family home made of giants. And here's the clever part. The entrance was dug lower than the sleeping area, so cold air, which is heavier than warm, sank into the doorway and stayed there. That's thermodynamics, worked out without a textbook in the middle of an ice age. Solution number 5, the freezer that never breaks down. When you make a big kill in October, you don't eat it all. You preserve it. Our ancestors smoked meat, dried it, buried it in underground pits. Some groups weighed mammoth carcasses down and sank them in cold ponds, a refrigerator that ran on physics, not electricity, and couldn't break down in a storm. The stranger facts, retention spikes. The people who ran hotter. The Yagan people of Tierra del Fuego, the very tip of South America, lived in near-freezing temperatures wearing almost nothing. Their bodies literally ran a higher metabolic temperature than most humans. The cold didn't break them. They adapted from the inside out. The hibernation theory. In a cave in Spain called the Pit of Bones, scientists found bones from 430,000 years ago with a very strange pattern. Seasonal growth interruptions, marks that only appear in animals that hibernate. The same signatures you'd see in a bear or a dormouse. The scientists' hypothesis, some early humans, in the worst winters, may have gone into a cave-deep sleep and slowed their metabolism for weeks at a time. This is not settled science. Plenty of researchers push back, but it's not dismissed either. And if it's true, your ancestors may have literally slept through winter like bears. The reframe that sticks. Here's what I keep coming back to. We didn't win winter because we were the strongest. We weren't. Neanderthals were stronger. Mammoths were bigger. Cave bears could shut their entire body down for months. We won because we could think a season ahead. We could look at October and see January, and then do something about it. The needle, the bone hearth, the underground food pit, the cold trap doorway. None of these are obvious. All of them required imagining a future that hadn't happened yet, and building for it. That is the one thing we had that nothing else did, and now we've gotten so good at it that we forgot winter was ever a fight we were losing.